There's not much behind, isn't it? Because we're not the highest.
Good day. Has to be a good day because I've no idea what time in the world you are watching. It's a good day. No, I am not Australian. Though I am British, so pretty similar. Just don't walk around upside down all day. Really early this morning for me. I woke up after 5 hours sleep feeling sort of wide awake, you know, that awakeness which you know you won't fall back to sleep. But still, that lingering sensation of tiredness. Yeah, no webcam today because I'm in my dressing gown because it's like 5:45 in the morning. Should I look? Oh, I've no idea how I look. Can only imagine. Anywho. A-Spec First Assault released on Steam. Early Access. Now, for some reason, whenever I type A-Spec now, it doesn't appear in the list. Unless I do a hyphen. What's gone on there? It's made my game practically unsearchable again. All I did was change something. Like, not make the game page show it as it being in capitals. And that's just totally changed search results. How annoying. So let's have a quick look and see if there's something we can do to change that. Oh, first of all, let's change the franchise name. Searching. Oh. Do I have to save each page? Yes, you do. I'm just doing this just off screen. Is it under description? No. Well, what can I do? I'm sure there's a section. It's just like, how do you want people to find your game with searching? Special settings? No. No. Maybe it's not under there then. Maybe it's under the Steamworks settings. And now it's just took me a different place that I ever wanted to be. Yep, so Early Access released now and released on last Friday. People are actually buying it. It's like, woo! It's not breaking any records. And yet to get any feedback from anyone. So it feels very much the same as when I had the playtest. But hey, it's just the beginning. Hopefully we'll encourage people to get involved. Right, I'm definitely, unless Steam has now changed literally how their page is. Which they might have done, to be honest. But it was a bit daft. Syria. Well, let's have a look. Let's see if we look back at Absolute Territory, whether or not it did the same thing or not. Oh yeah, my video trailer. It eventually processed. It only took 48 hours. I had to cancel it as well. Because I uploaded it 6 hours before release, and you cannot release your game if the trailer is in processing, so you have to cancel it, and you can release, and then you have to republish it. So if you ever do that, I highly recommend you don't replace videos and just publish the other one and then retire the old one when the other one's when the new one is finished getting processing. Let's see, so I'm just looking at plays, which is going to stand down and say, here's keywords to use, and I'm not seeing any keywords to use. What is going on, man? No. So, not under the edit store page. Then you go back to Steamworks settings. It seems to me it has been removed. Because I'm not seeing it whatsoever. So the community, is it? Like more rich presents? No. Okay. Shh, not there anymore, so you know. Never mind. Okay. So I've been working through a list towards a patch, which we'll be aiming to release, well, maybe once a month. So given that I released it, what, on the 10th? I mean, we could do it at the beginning of each month, maybe, get it to fall on that. Ish. Does it matter? Or give us ourselves the full 4 weeks to release a patch on the 8th. Most recent changes that I've been doing is adding a couple of new events, well, conditions to my level manager. So we now got an autopilot event, which really just detects when you press P and then the cutscene, if you want to call it that, starts. So you can subscribe to when that starts and when it ends. And I've used the start basically to set a variable. And we've done some changes with custom variables where if we're using a string, we can append strings like a CSV or like regular text. Which will then allow me to keep a list of survivors from the 4th mission, which really, unless the player is absolutely terrible, every one of these ships will survive. And then we could actually use them for when they're escaping here to put those names in. Otherwise, we'll fill in with some other names. And then again, it may be here. But it's like, how do you test this shit? Well, in order to test, I would have to make further changes to the level editor if I wanted to do proper testing. Or I could just quite literally cheat, which would be easier. I mean, I've got settings in here. The Panda Unicorn, hello, welcome. Raiders, raiding with a party of 4, sweet, welcome along. How y'all doing? This is really early for me, Panda. What have you been working on? I'm working on a space game. Space game that I released on Early Access. You're an hour ahead of me. I only started streaming 16 minutes ago. You know, I woke up. It was like, couldn't go back to sleep. Yeah, Early Access now is released. Woo, November 10th. Whee. So now I'm doing updates. Well, working on a patch which will release next month, and hopefully get more eyes on the game. Because I only had 1,500 wish lists when the game released it for early access, and sales were on par with my first game, which had 1,000 wish lists. So now I'm just hoping we can build up the wish lists over the next 12 to 18 months showing early access, so that when I come to hit that release button, we get a proper Steam release and it goes better. Let's see, so that is where the transports are in, and then we don't need that one. It's this one where they're going to do the escape. And this means now that I need for these transports that we've placed down here. 5. We've got 6 of them. We need to set their name. Gotta set their name, be able to overwrite. So I'm gonna need an action which will allow me to set the display name. So now, how are we gonna do that? Because we've got a CSV string now, and we want to take an element out of that CSV and use that as the name. And we can do that by either an index number or random number. For the element. And also potentially remove that from the CSV so it doesn't get used again. Gosh, that's becoming complicated. Let's do a card on it. So how would this be? What would you call it? Like extract value from variable. CSV. Something like that. CSV variable. Oh. Taking a string like test 1, test 2, test 3, test. Does that look like a 3 or a 4? Then being able to extract one of those values by either 1. Stating an index. 2. Random selection. That means we also need to count the number of CSV values. Or it could actually... that would be a condition, yes. And then being able to remove that value from the string, from the variable containing the string. So it's like if we were doing random, then it takes test 2, then it will remove test 2 from there and free up us to do random on the remaining elements. Oh. Okay. Now, other thing I was thinking of. Counting, maybe. I need to count the number of values contained in a CSV variable. So what would be a name for that? Like CSV counter or count. Counts the number of items in a CSV variable. and. It's going to act like where is it? Right, what we do with distance. Use a comparison operator where we can then say greater than, less than, equal to, that sort of stuff, you know? How? Operator. Yeah. I did have to type that in there. Delete, delete, delete. Let's take the turret's remaining one, duplicate that. Whoop. Zoom. Zoom, zoom. Comma separated values in variable. Count. Variable number of copy separate values. Item count. And So get rid of that. And then we still need a value, so we take that and duplicate it and move it there. Item index. Item index. Is that even resized? Is it fudge? Why not? What is going on with this? Why is this? Sod off with you stupid rounding errors. All I'm interested in now is understanding why this might. Oh, it's not even enabled. What's going on there? How bizarre. Yeah, so I think. Oh. What am I doing? I'm just daydreaming now. Let's get back to, yeah, I'm thinking answer, like, how would we handle like the index values. I mean, you do like 0, 1, blah, blah, blah. -1 for random. Would that make sense? Doesn't have to make sense, really. Only to me. For now. Unless by popular demand. People want to make their own missions and whatnot. Oh, but based on my last game, there's not a great deal of interest in that. Alright, let's see. We copied that. Might as well use this as our base template to create a new condition, which is always a good idea, because otherwise I'll forget things and it takes twice as long to create something. And it takes way too long in the first place. So hand over the form, we'll just duplicate that. Oh, thank you, Visual Studio. No, I didn't want you to pop up and be so rude to me. Now we have to go into there. We have to set that to 1. And save it probably. And then do replacements. I've completely forgot what we're calling it. Like variable CSV items count. So so we don't have that. This is now replaced with that, and this is what? Item index. Don't need that now. Let's go to this definition and just due condition data. We have an int for our. What the fudge am I on about? This is a counter. Oh, we need. Yeah. It was like. Come on, you're already there. Let me. Oh, you. Cool. Boop. Like that. So we need to know what variable we're checking. So, variable name. Get rid of that. Ads. So soon. That's a string. Why is this complaining? Because it's not that, it's that. And close that, close that, close that. Yeah, simple enough. Yeah, set value, set text. Boy. Angry shrimp. Yep. Well, yes. This is live. Live from my back room. Welcome. Are you live? Are you angry? Welcome along. It is a good question because I am half asleep. So am I alive? Maybe. I've only just got up, man. I slept for 5 hours and I woke up at 4 a.m. which was 2.5 hours ago. And I couldn't go back to sleep. It was just that feeling where you just wake up and then you're just wide awake. It's like, I'm wide awake, but I'm still tired. Anyway, so I lay in bed for another hour and a half. Couldn't drop back off, so I got up and decided to stream, and it's now 6:30 in the morning, so just gonna have to roll with it. Maybe make myself another brew, you know? Yeah. So I just need to wake up. 2 p.m. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going wide awake then. Time zones. Woo! Fantastic things, aren't they? But importantly, is it a Tuesday? Let's see, so we've now got these in here. And It is. No, it won't be Tuesday. It's Wednesday. Bloody hell. I don't even know what day it is, so you know, it doesn't matter. Just go through life not knowing what day of the week it is. No issues. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. It's certainly become... Since COVID, well, even pre-COVID, I gotta be aware, but COVID really just made every day seem like the same. And, you know, it's not gotten any better. It's like, get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home. Do I go to work today? No, I don't. Good. You got, oh, I forget what they called it. But yeah, lockdown and whatnot. Yeah, I didn't get to work at home. I still got to go to the office and risk getting COVID with everyone else. Yeah, so there's no furlough for me. Or any of my colleagues. Well, there's some colleagues who had underlying health conditions considered a risk who got to work from home. But the rest of us got to work at the office, and it was really quiet, really boring. And now it's the other way. Since we come out of COVID, demand has really gone through the roof. It's like British people are crazy. Just saying. I am, yeah. Good old Blighty. Nice accent. This is just me being really tired. My voice never sounds like this normally or this deep. Sounds a bit more shitty. I don't know, my voice right now sounds like it's got a lot of bass to it, you know, really deep. But it's not normally like this, it's because, yeah, I'm just literally tired. Oh, I could be tired and coming down with a cold. Huh. Either or. Does make me sound good. So we now got this form set up, which will count said things. We now need the other bit. Now, my job has nothing to do with software development, programming, video game development in any shape or form. This is my own personal project that I work on when I'm not at my full-time job. The link there for you. You can check it out. It's on Steam. It's called A-Spec First Assault and space combat game, which you're flying around in Corvette ships, you know, like warships. So it's not fighters. The first game was starfighters, now we're moving on. Now in warships with turrets and damageable quadrants, so if you can get behind your target, you've got weaker protection or less health there. Same as like underneath. So you can see little circles there. These little circular indicators are representing the health of the ship in a 3D space. We've got the front, the back, sides, and then that's top and bottom armor. And the middle one's your structure. That depletes you dead. And it's meant to sort of be a bit like the Star Trek Starfleet Command series made by Taldron. Apart from being on a 2D plane, it is 3D. However, there's none of that RNG aspect to it. And it's a significantly cut down version for what it would be. Well, planning to cover the general theme of it, where you've got your story missions, you've got side missions which are like randomly presented to you, and you get to choose which side mission you do until you earn enough prestige to buy better equipment and prepare yourself for the next story mission. I don't have time to play games. I'm too busy making one. Traveling as well, nice. Yeah. It's one of the things where you work a full-time job and you want to make games. You just don't have time to make games. Or play games. One or the other. There's some truth in that sentence somewhere. Now, I guess we will take the action of on this one. Or do we have something where no, I'll take you. Unless there's something a bit more closer to what we want. Like what? Nothing, really. What do we need? We need to provide an index number between 0 and whatever the max length could ever possibly be. Or -1 if we want to do random. We need to tell it what variable we're looking at. So why don't I just take that, since it's vaguely got what we want. And there's nothing stopping you from just jumping in and start programming now. I mean, it's like, if you look at that, you're like, what the fuck is all this shit here? I have no idea what it means, but that's because you just need to get the fundamentals of programming. And you just go from there. You know, it's like learning to read and write for the first time. With anything. So yeah, if you are interested in programming, just look up, like, there's websites out there which teach you understandings and basics of getting on it. You just stick with it. Way too deep in with networking. Nice. See, there's many things I would like to have deeper knowledge of, like networking and internet security, stuff like that. But I don't have time. And I want to make my game. But yeah, you know, I just kind of feel like a one-trick pony sort of thing. But I guess it is still better than the jack of all trades, master of none. Oh, programming can be very boring. It depends. If you're working on your own stuff, yeah. At least you know you are creating something for yourself. But there are a lot of boring aspects to it, especially when a project gets as large as this, and you're trying to fit features in, which trying to keep that code base neat and tidy and readable, and refactoring and whatnot. But yeah, I enjoy programming and creating things, and I did work as a software engineer, which is just a fancy term for programmer, for several years, once upon a time. But the problem with doing that is then I didn't want, when I finished work, I didn't want to do any programming in my own time, because I was literally felt burnt out from doing whatever I was doing in the job. But now I've got that contrast between work, full-time work, and then coming in and doing what I'm doing here. So it also takes a bit of grit and knowing yourself. So one of the problems I have, you come home from work and sit down and have some tea and then watch a bit of TV, then my body goes, well, I'm in relax mode. You wanted to do a bit of programming? Tough shit. You're going to really have to force me to do it if you really want to do it. And after many years, I realised that no, it's too much of a struggle for me. Oh, what's it I've done now? Stupid Unity. Look at this, stupid rounding errors. Yeah, you get to deal with crap like that. Rounding errors like 1.00000 dot something or other, which to the computer is still 1. See, that was one of the things like first got me when I was dealing with, and I've been programming for years before, and I never seen that issue when it came to floor point number with decimals of all the way to the end. And it was like, why have I got this floating point inaccuracy? And I eventually found out, well, you're just going to have to lump it because that's just how computers work. It's still considered a 1, but the computer stores it with some decimal value of like 10 digits of zeros before it. Yeah, and I'd already been like programming like 10 years before that when I realised that was a thing. So, you know, so I'll still learn something new every day. What is this? What's this supposed to be? CSV extraction. Extract value. So should we call it like variable comma sensitive value item extraction extraction, yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So this is gonna be a variable name. Enter variable name. So I'm using the Unity game engine, and the Unity game engine solely uses C#, which is a programming language I really like. I've dabbled with many, like C++, Pascal, Visual Basics. If you want to learn a programming language, try starting off with Visual Basic. Really nice. C# still a thing. C++ is still a thing, you know that. So C. Yeah. Programming languages don't die out overnight. Rust is a thing as well. I used to code in a programming language called PowerFlex, which was like a Linux-based programming language for databases. Hang on a minute. You learn about those things way back in uni. You probably like way back for you is like 10 years, isn't it? See, when I was way back in uni, they were doing basic. COBOL. They were doing COBOL. And that was 20 plus years ago. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, how old am I? 40 something. 44. There we go. Couldn't remember if it was 43 or 44 then. Yeah. It wasn't that long ago. It was only yesterday when I was in my 30s. And now look at me. Older and less wiser every day. Yeah, they generally say you get older and wiser, but you get to a point where you get older and less wiser. Hey, listen, when you get to my age, you'll be thinking, you know what? This is not old. I've still got like another 20, like 3-4 years of work before I can get my government, what is it? State pension. So you know. Oh, by the time I get to retirement age, it'll probably be about like 67. Can you imagine that? Still being required to work when you're almost 70. Yeah. Only 25 years for you. Well, lucky you. That means I could probably end up being retiring in like 6 years' time. Oh, that's not happening for me. It's like my parents both retired at like 55. My mum a bit longer actually. She carried on a bit longer. But well, she retired, but then carried on doing a bit of work. But now she's fully retired. But they both got their pensions at 55. It's like I live in a different age. I could not survive on a pension at 55, despite saving up in a pension since I started working a full-time job. So yeah. Plus, it's not like I've got any codependence or anything like that. So, still. The state of the times. Yeah, that'd be like more reasonable. It's like I think France retirement age is about 60, and then they tried to raise it to something like 63. And all the French people went mad, rioted. So let's go. This could be the CSV. Yeah. Everything's expensive now, and everything's going to remain expensive since inflation is, well, all the damage due to inflation, because it's not going to deflate. And if it does deflate, then that's just another issue. You can get your pension at 55, living in Malaysia. Nice. Oh, well gel on that. See, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. It's like, I'll make games so I can make money, so I don't have to work. How's that working out for me? Oh, it's putting me in a lot of debt. That, thankfully, I've got a job that allows me to afford it. So, it's not working out. Never mind. CSV. Extract to variable name. Yeah, variable name. So this game is in early access. I've been working on it since 2022 when I created a sort of like proof of concept. It's mostly feature complete, and really I just need to be creating content and missions. However, the content and missions I want to create still requires a bit more coding, mostly to do with the level editor, because I create my own level editor to script those missions. So it's mostly complete. It's about 12 to 18 months, and I hope the game will be then like 1.0 full release. The game before that, I was working on Absolute Territory, which is to do with space fighters, and A-Spec First Assault, which is a game I'm working on now, is using all the code base from Absolute Territory, because it's a space combat game, and I'm trying to evolve and enhance and add on to make like the space game of my dreams over time. So rather than just try to make one game which is the game of my dreams, I'm going to do it over many different titles and just add bits, new things to it to make it different from the last one, sort of thing. So it looks cool, but only 18 people have reviewed that. The game's a flop. Steam users are not interested in space sci-fi games really, unless there's like huge management aspects and it's like open world. It's got everything, including the kitchen sink. Anything less than that, then they get a bit fussy. Go, yeah, and turn their nose up to it. But hey, if it was like had open world in it, multiplayer, like yeah, I might like get 10 more sales. Which is how it would work out, so. Name extract 2. Well, that's it, yeah. But it makes me laugh because people get bored of No Man's Sky and say, I'm bored of No Man's Sky. What other game can I play? It's like, but then I still want all the features for like No Man's Sky, and it's like my eyes could not roll any further back into my head. You want a game which is on comparison with No Man's Sky, but different enough to feel fresh. Maybe like you just need to change up how you're playing No Man's Sky if that's the case. Because it's a huge freaking game. If you got bored with it, you need to be doing something different in it. Or lower your expectations. It's also like, surely you've heard of Star Citizen. The game that was promised to be out in 4 years, and it's been over 10 years. Yeah. Feels like a lot of people like that. Or the more vocal. Let's go with the vocal minority. It's generally the vocal minority who are like that. Unfortunately, a lot of the sensible people are just very quiet and keep their head down and very sensibly don't get involved with arguments on the internet. But do you know what? Everyone on the internet is correct. Everyone's correct. You don't feel below. Well, that's the other thing as well. If you're playing something solid for long enough, you know, it becomes normal to you and a bit more mundane. That's why no one ever likes going to work, because it's normal and mundane. Same old, same old. So if you're not doing it as frequent, then you're alright. Because you're pacing yourself. So it's like no one can ever create a video game that is going to constantly feel fresh to you, ever. Certainly, I've never played a video game that always feels fresh to me, ever. I've got games that I love and got fond memories of, but I certainly don't go back and play them, even though I still have those fond memories of them. Now, what did I copy this from? Was it like that one, wasn't it? That's going to be so old. The code's going to be like ancient. Well, let's copy it anyway. Oh, can't stop yawning enough. Did you know, if you see someone yawn, you're like 6 times more likely to yawn yourself? Useless fact of the day. Use it how you will. Make everyone yawn. Right, ads are about to start, so I'm just gonna make myself a brew. Be right back. Lovely. Oh, my back. Oh. Let's see. So we're looking at this form, and I got like action data. Let's just copy you. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I had a car accident 10 years ago. Just over. Got side swipes, which knocked my spine out of alignment, and I've had nothing but issues since. However, I got COVID like 2 years ago. And now it's even worse. Everything's just more sensitive, basically. So, because I've now got long COVID. So that's not great. Right, did I not just like... this is action. So, because it's an action, we're not calling it that. Item extraction, Daniel. There we go. Much better. And then we'll go back to this and look at that one, which is the second one. And name that. And then we've got our extract. Extraction. What happened there? CSV variable name and extract into variable name. All these great, fantastic names. And how do we just... Now, am I doing something else? Yes, we need another variable. Which was like that value. I'm going to set that value from here. And paste it back in here. Yeah, so with me back now, after regular stretches and paracetamol and naproxen, heat packs, and it's still causing me issues, and that's all I can do. Currently waiting until sometime in January so that I can have an assessment for a chair in the office. That might help a little. Yeah, because I've got an ergonomic chair here at home, but even that is isn't 100% helpful. It's like 4 hours, and then that's literally my body saying nope. We're at work, it's literally 20 minutes, and it's like, ha 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 ha, no chance, pal. Oh, better change my mattress. Yeah, I had been thinking about that. Maybe get myself a what are they called? Which multi your body. I mean, when I got my bed, despite it having thousands more springs than the previous bed I had, the other mattress was like the like memory foam stuff, and that was very comfortable. And then I got this one, it was like, this is a lot more harder, and I've only just gotten used to it, because I used to go to sleep in it and I would end up with back pain from sleeping, but I don't get the back pain from sleeping now. Or, my threshold of tolerance to pain is increased because I'm just constantly in pain. Who knows? Sure, that might be a valid reason. Now, where do I want this value? I want this value between these two. Item index. Yeah, wishful thinking. I'm just a soft git, really, aren't I? Can't cope with a little bit of pain. Like, I remember one time, when was it? I'm sure it was like from when my appendix burst. And the doctors did surgery and tried to do the keyhole surgery, but they couldn't find my appendix, because my appendix had travelled all the way up to like hide behind my right kidney. So after putting it looked like 3 keyhole attempts where they've put a small incision to it, then do a slightly larger incision just below my belly button, and then do a 10-inch cut just below my rib cage on my right side to get it out. And before that operation, like, the doctor was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain are you in? It's like, this pain is like 20, 100. It's the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my life. And then he's like, well, if it was a 10, like, I'd expect you to be like, not even be able to communicate. It's like, don't give me a fucking arbitrary scale value where you're sitting there. If you're going to give me a chart, give me a fucking chart which says, right, 0, you're feeling not even like you sat down on your ass, to 5, you feel like your tailbone's on fire, to 8, you can barely maintain consciousness, 10, you're a vegetable. Just ask me to do a scale 1 out of 10 for like The most pain you've ever felt, and then say, well, actually, I would have expected this. Useless. Arbitrary scales. Meaningless. Yeah. Thing is, I can only vaguely remember because I was in that much pain that my mind doesn't really want to remember it. So, you know. No, I actually created this. I created the form. I'm creating the data. So we now need to replace that and that. Yeah. So we have that. They're all input fields, aren't they? Where is it? Saved action data. CSV variable name. CSV variable name. This is the item index. Extract to variable name. Dot set text without notify. What the heck? No. Name equals CSV variable name dot text. Item index. Like int item index. Item index is item index. So this is a class which I use to store mission data. This is action data for when it performs an action. So we're saying this is the name of the variable that's containing our CSV values, which are comma separated values. I want to extract this index number for the value item. And I want to store that into here, this variable. So we're taking in a variable of items, taking an item and putting it elsewhere, and oh yes, let's do Bill remove item from CSV variable. So when we extract we'll delete the item. Capital letter, Daniel. Maintain standards, please. And because I use it off a base class, so there's more code in there, so that I can then effectively treat everything as action data and manipulate it and save it that way. And then when I get the data back, I do check, like say, is this action data based on the variable CSV item extraction data type? If so, then great, let's convert it to that so we can access all these variables and methods contained within. It took me ages to figure that out. It was an absolute pain in the ass. Yeah, Boolean is a true false. Talking about the class there, so Boolean is a flag, true or false. String is text. Int is a whole number. Float is a decimal, is number with decimal points. You might have some values called decimal, like decimal, which is just different ways of adding more floating point numbers in it. So more value, more decimal point, more numbers after the decimal point. I might be teaching you to suck eggs, but I'm forgetting my words, so I don't even know the fucking proper terminology to just use that word, so then I have to explain it the long way around, because I'm thick as pig shit. Yeah, so a class basically contains members which are full of different variable types of int, bool, string, whatever, but can also contain methods which are just functions, which is just execution of code, like this method, which is processing all this text and doing stuff in while loops and shit. Yeah, don't worry about it. just giving you a bit of a vague idea of what I'm actually doing. for anyone else following along or rewatching. So it's not just like a wall of text which doesn't, well, it's still got to be a wall of text that doesn't mean anything, but I've put it into a little bit of context. And then in here, I'm taking, so this is what I mean. When we get the data, it's got the action data. I'll call a method within action data that does something. And then I convert it to my variable CSV action data, so then I can access the members contained within that class. Because this is like the base class, and this is like inherited class. Which is now taking me back to uni. Let's see, ASV, get variable name. Do you see, or are you just being polite? Normally when people say, I see, it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm just trying to be polite. Which is fine. I wouldn't expect anyone with little programming knowledge to fully understand anything I'm saying, solely because if I didn't have programming knowledge, I wouldn't be understanding. Yeah, you'll understand a bit because you've done networking, you understand computers. some of the terminology will be familiar to you, but none of the code will probably make any sense. It's like that. It brings me back talking about this, like the first time I started learning to program, and for the first programming class we had, he waffled on for a fucking hour, wrote "Hello World" on the blackboard. Or was it whiteboard? Oh, it was a whiteboard, yeah. We had whiteboard back then, which was very new. And then said, right, I want you to create a program which will be a quiz. And all he's told us is how to print "Hello World" onto the screen. What? And this was in Pascal. So it's like you didn't have Google to Google how do I make a choice, right? You know, to ask a question for that. He didn't direct us to the help of the programming language. Didn't give us an idea of what we can use. All we had is like we can print stuff to the screen, and he expected us to go off and basically make a little quiz game which gives you 7 questions and then gives you the score at the end. It's like, what? And the only reason I was able to do that is simply because there was people who had actually done code, who were students and knew how to code. And I still did not understand after that. And then I started learning C++, and I still didn't understand that. Though my C++ teacher actually said I was doing quite well, but I was confused the entire time. And I'm now at the point where I'm not that confused, because obviously I've just now got a very firm foundation. I could pick up any language and learn it in less than a month. And the stuff I'm doing really isn't challenging me anymore, other than handling extremely large code base. Yeah. Memorize everything, now forgotten. It's like I remember sitting the exam for my C++, and saw my tutor, and she just asked me how I was doing. I said, like, I think I did really badly in that. I think I did extremely badly. And it turned out I'd done very well. A lot. Significantly better than I thought. I was like 80% pass mark or something like that. Or just maybe almost. Like high 70s, so well clear of the passing mark. So that was a surprise. Yeah, and then I carried on, then stupidly. Oh, in blockchain, flipping it. That must have been the what do they call it? Like the flare of the season sort of thing, when blockchain was becoming popular. It's like, oh, let's do something that's you know what they mean, like with fashion, a fad The fad of the season. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. You apply for a job as a network engineer. Well, if you enjoy it and you don't feel overworked and you're on a good income, then, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can always just learn to code in your own time. It also depends why you want to code. Do you want to just experiment, play around, and just create little things yourself? Do you want to create software to solve a problem? Or do you want to make video games and to entertain? I've done all. I've done it where I've worked for a business. I tried to make an app for myself to solve a problem for YouTubers. Never make an app for a YouTuber because they don't want to spend any money. And I've made a video game. Never make a video game because gamers complain that the video game looks like it's 10 years old, and AAA games are a lot better in terms of graphics. Well, don't make a space game anyway, because that's their general opinion. Though the next game that I'm going to do at some point, and I'm going to do it side by side of developing this it'll be next year, is make a very short, simple horror game. Because apparently, Steam gamers love horror games. And they don't care if they're short, they don't care if they're like janky. Just so long as it has those tropes of horror in it, they eat it up. So I'm gonna try that and like see if I can like make a horror game in a month. Which, given the time, will probably take me about 3 months. More realistically, like 6 months to a year. Because I also plan to do it in a different game engine, because I'm using Unity, and there's been a shit palaver with what Unity have done with like making changes to policy and very stupid ideas. And basically, Unity are not making money, or it's not profitable. So if Unity goes under, then I'll be working on a dead engine, which I probably wouldn't be able to access because you have to access it via a launcher, via this hub, and you have to have a license. And if Unity just disappeared, you lose a license. You can't access the version of Unity you're on, can't access any new versions or whatever. So yeah. Well, it's also, you know, they're not that fussy, you know, as well as other genres. Other genres, they can get very fussy about what they need and what it has to be. But as long as you got jump scares in a horror game and it's in darkness and whatever, then great. So the question is, do I make a space horror game, sci-fi horror game, which is like, maybe that's the same problem, because you're still going for that genre. However, how many sci-fi horror games are out there other than like Dead Space? So maybe. But I think I'm still going to shoot myself in the foot by doing that. So maybe I just need to, like, yeah, stay away from sci-fi and keep it a little bit more grounded in modern day or maybe historic context. Well, it will have to depend on what assets I might be prepared to buy for that. To do the graphics and the models. Oh. Excuse me. Alright, so now we've got the action form set up. We've got the values in here. We don't have all the values in here because toggle, is it toggle is on, isn't it? Yeah. What part? Buying assets. See, I bought a load of assets on Unity where it's a lot of sci-fi stuff. So I've got sci-fi corridors, I've got space monsters and robots. So I could do like a horror game with all those assets because they're there. And given that, if I really want to, I probably should just do it. Spend a month making it. And stick it on Steam. Probably as a demo. Do I play my own games? Well, the thing is, I play them as I develop them to make sure that it's about as fun as it can be and feel right. So let's go based on the first, well, my last game, shall we say, of Absolute Territory when I made that. So, you know, you're always testing, playing, see if it feels right, especially when creating missions. Like, you're just playing the same mission over and over and over and over and over again. And then when it's done, play them all over again. And again, and again. So, short answer, yes. However, when I go back and replay Absolute Territory, I have thought about it, and I have played a couple of missions, but now I've got to the point where, like, I don't like the feel of the game. It was great when I done it. It felt right when I did it. Because now the changes I've done with, like, A-Spec, you know, it's like that value of feeling fresh. I've improved things since then, and I'm also keenly aware of all the problems in my last game, so it can be very difficult, but I do play them, but mostly to ensure that the game doesn't break and is playable and is fun, because I am the #1 person for catching the major issues in the game, like game breaking stuff. If you play a mission and then scripting fails and you can't finish that mission, that's a big red flag, and I need to catch that before anyone else. And that's how I've been doing it, and that's how I have done it. And I think the majority of well, not many people have ever flagged any bugs to me, mostly because they don't understand it. If it's a bug or not, they just accept it's a feature of the game and that's how the game works. But I know. And yeah, most of the bug reports I've had is more something specific to that user's machine that is doing something different. So there was one where they had a touch input device enabled, connected to the computer, and that prevented all input from working in the game, which was specific to their machine, which I fixed. There was another one where it was like if someone had an actual true HDR monitor and HDR turned on, then all the colour palette was shite. Completely different. Where I have an HDR monitor, but it's not true HDR because when you enable it, all the colours look more washed out than not having HDR enabled. So I didn't have it on to test it, and I just ticked a box in Unity to turn it on, and never just go around ticking boxes to see, and then never test to see if it works right. Because those two issues I talked about was a tick box to fix, but spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the problem was before I discovered it was a toggleable option. Did I answer your question there? Do I play my own games? Yes. You know, I'm making a game that I would primarily want to play myself. So, yeah. I enjoy creating. I enjoy playing them. I always know they can be better, but where I'm limited with my abilities. So there are times where I feel like this is not as good as I want it to be. However, I don't understand what is missing from there, and then I don't have the ability to solve it, but I've done the best I can. So now it's just a case of hopefully finding a solution later down the line. And that later down the line might be I've picked up new skills and experience and a little bit wiser, or someone's come along and said the game would be better if you do X, Y, and Z. And I'll look at it and I think, will it? Might try it. And if it makes sense, I'll do it. Ads starting soon. Let's see. So I've got this, got the form. Can add the extraction. And then wire everything up. You have to go now. No worries. You take care. See you next time. Wrong value. I need a toggle, so why don't we just take this one that says clear current monitors. Why can't I click down into it anymore? Copy. Paste as child. And this. Delete. Item. Oh. And text. Delete. Item. Extracted. In CSV. Is it going to let us fit that? Okay. And we're back from ads. I don't know if you had ads there, Angshim, but yep. You take care. See you next time. Let's see. So now wind up all those variables in here. So that'll be working 100% perfectly. No issues whatsoever. Not a single bug or anything can possibly go wrong. Now we actually have to create the actions. So we create the forms, which, well, we might as well test the forms now. So it's right here. So we can make sure that we can save and load the information. Let's do it on this. Use trigger, conditional, variable items count, and extraction. So let's go 1 equals to 2. A 3 B tick. Save. Load. Okay. Equal to. So those values are. Oh, item index. I see. Item index on the action form. It's because we're not saving the value. No. Yes. Yes. So let's just do int.tryparse item index.text out var item index val. So basically that is just converting our string to an integer in a safe way. So if, let's say, item index contained an alpha character like A, Z, G, and it's not solely numeric, then it'll just return 0. There is another one called int.parse, and if that failed, then it flags an error. So doing tryparse, it does it in a safe way, where instead of like flagging an error and breaking it, it says, okay, I failed to convert it to a actual number, so I'm going to return the value of 0, which will do, fine. Yeah, gotta try to do it all over again. I see light outside. So now save that. Save, load, test, and now it's done. So that was that. So that. Save, load. Shit. Why did that do that? That's just like... Not good. Save. Load. Huh, I'm toggled on. What? Oh, my word. Got to where the file is saved. Yes, well, I was already there, and now we have to go all the way through it again. And what's the value? Oh, there's a bunch of waypoints in there, never mind. So which one's this? Oh, those are the placements. So ignore that. Conditional actions. And see, look, delete item from variable false. So it saved it. Oh, right. How stupid. We're just setting it. So whatever it was set to. That's daft. Always worse. Testing code. Make sure you haven't made any daft mistakes. As you will. You'll always make mistakes. There's lots of errors in your code. See, I thought that when I made Absolute Territory that, you know, pretty much bug free. You know. But then, no. Fucking huge bugs in that. The game just somehow works. There you go, now it's gone. Save, load. Yeah, save, load. Yep. Yeah, I think the biggest bug it was in there was like with the steering for the AI. And I was using a what they call a PID. It's like progressive integral derivative or something like that. And the short explanation of that, because I cannot explain it well if I tried, is it just tries to smooth values out. So if I didn't use a PID for steering, the AI would oversteer and eventually slow its steering, wiggling along until it's going to where it needs to go. Use a PID, you can set values on it which can remove that completely or make it worse, whatever. But it's generally used to prevent that. So you can get that smooth movement of steering, so it's looking like they're flying exactly where they want to. And after I made Absolute Territory, and when I came to work on A-Spec and then refactor the code, I found out that the code wasn't doing what I thought it should have been doing. However, playing the game, it seemed to do exactly what it needed to do. And effectively I had to rewrite the code for A-Spec, and I was like, I'm not going to touch Absolute Territory because it works. Code might be wrong, but it freaking works. The AI can actually fly to the player or the target it's trying to shoot and shoot them. It works, even though the code apparently doesn't. So that's the other moral of the story. If something works, don't fix it. So the code might look broken, it could be messy or whatever. Don't touch it. Stay away from that. It works. Don't touch it, because you could make it worse or break it by trying to make it better. The only time I would do that is like I say, new project, doing something different, changing the way it works, and it makes sense to then do it because you're implementing something into it, or you know, for the benefit of the project. Since this is an ongoing project, pig correcting bugs, yeah, no grants. I can't really remember, but basically when I was working on A-Spec, it just didn't do what it's supposed to be doing, like going to target and whatnot. It was crazy, and to be honest, I didn't want to understand either, because it was like my head was already blown. I was like, why is this not working? And it was something to do with a simple change, so I just had to rewrite it so that it would fall in line with the project. Mad, absolutely mad. So it remains untouched. Though I have done daft things as well, like the floating origin system that I implemented in A-Spec. I decided to backdate it to absolute territory, and that introduced new bugs as well. And I don't think there was really any great benefit to it, other than if a player decided to fly something like 100,000 meters away from the game area, then they would only start to notice there's a problem. So really, I just fixed a problem for literally 0.01% of players, which probably didn't even equal one person. But that problem is now solved, so. Then people can fly off into the vastness of empty space in absolute territory for as long as they want and not notice any issues. Well, at least issues related to the floating origin system, what it is there to correct. So I've got these now. Structure monitoring. I just need the action now, don't I? So let's make a copy of you. What members do we have here? So variable name, index, variable name, and delete. Yeah, ugh. Refactoring untested code. Oh boy. Thing with video games, you generally can't do tests. Though it really does depend. In general, fluid gameplay, can't really do that. But for basic operations, probably could. There's a guy who's working on Star Deus, which is a space colony game. He's got unit tests involved, but that's because it's all about like building and management and testing all those cases of things happening. So he has a bunch of tests like placing buildings, checking AI can get to where it needs to go, manufacturing of items, that sort of stuff. So it makes sense for him for do unit tests that way. But for like an action game, the effort for doing unit tests probably isn't worth it for me. At least I've not done it anyway. Alright, why is that not renamed that? No, I just don't even try to understand or learn action tests. That just doesn't want to rename for me in the same way, so I'm going to have to rename the file manually. Though, I think, like, if it was to do a unit test, it would be for, like, level editor. Would make sense for testing of loading of individual scripts, well, conditions and actions, and making sure they work. Because I have broken it several times over the years. The last time I did it last week. So I had to go down, do replacements, and testing the conditions are working. So that might be a benefit. But I just want to make progress and not get stuck and hung up on things. So I don't. Delete item from CSV. Let's see, this is going to be string of CSV variable name. Extract to variable name. Not using that. Right, and CSV variable name is my data of CSV variable name. Oh yeah, the item index. Item index. Yeah, my data item index. Extract to variable name, my data extract the variable name. Oh, if only I could go back to bed and fall asleep. But I can't. Or can I? No. Not that. Oh, the sun is up now. Oh, crikey. Oh, shite. So now. This is a. What? Gosh. Daniel. Let's spell me. This is an action. See, the other thing is always making changes anyway, so the changes will probably break the unit tests as well, so it doesn't make sense. I just have to be more careful. Use a common sense approach, you know. Oh, if you don't know, the game is out on Early Access now. There is a demo as well, which, if you've been following, I'm sure you already know. So it came out on Early Access back on the 10th. You can see myself streaming up there, so you might want to mute and pause or whatever. Anyone chatting in there? No. Hello, Steam. One Steam viewer. Should disable that chat because no one ever talks in it. So yeah, it's out. I've got a prologue. It's got 7 missions on it, new ships and whatnot. And then at the end of the prologue, it falls into what the demo offers with those 3 main missions and some side missions, which I need to refactor, change, because those missions don't really make sense now, thanks to the prologue. But I've got ideas, and maybe, just maybe, in the next update, I can change them. I'll see. Still working on the prologue, adding some different things in, like having ship names persist across missions. So if you lose a ship, well, you get a different ship with a different name. So trying to give the semblance of a little bit of persistence. Fake persistence, if you will. See how it goes. I could just be wasting my time with it and never actually use it after this little single prologue mission. That's always the danger. You spend all this time on a new feature and it just does it for one thing and then you forget about it and it wasn't worth the time. Because it didn't. Either it was pointless or you didn't use it effectively, Daniel. Now, this is not an action form, is it? Yes, it is. That's the form. What the fudge? No, what's she doing? Oh no, I'm just going slightly mad. Don't worry about it. Only slightly. Factories, this was an action, so we go to actions. Create an empty child. Bang that in there, add the action. Rename it. Duh, there we go. Now, when we start action, we actually have to do something with it. But before that, I need a Wii. Be right back. Got myself another cup of tea, and then maybe we'll stop drinking it for a while, because still got caffeine in it. And we don't want too much caffeine. We don't want to be wired relying on it. One thing I notice is that drinking tea does have a calming effect on me. It's really good. Well, coffee just made me like wired and antsy and that. So, having a cup of tea. If you feel stressed, have a cup of tea. It will calm you down a little bit. Now we've added the extraction action. Right. Okay. Shall we try it? Is it all wired up? We shall try it. Right, so extraction action. We need to create a variable. We can all do it in the same thing, Daniel. You know, we don't have to go out of our way. A variable ID, a value, now we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit. Actually, no, 1, 2, 3, 4 would have worked. Because there's a comma in it, and that's not considered a number. Did you know a hashtag is not considered a letter? In the is letter method. See, I thought I was like between is letter and is number in checking a string. You got string dot is letter is number method. Like given it's only giving you the option of them two. But where's the is octaform? Why am I laughing so hard at that? Greds. Oh, it's hilarious, Greds. Yeah, I would have thought it would treat like even symbols as like being a letter. I didn't think it would literally treat it as like being an A to Z. So, you know, I had to do a bit checkering. It's like, is it a number? No. Okay, then we're going to treat it like it's not a number and it's just a basic string. Yeah, right. Look at how easy that was with these up-down values. I'm glad I did that. So we got a variable, and we're going to extract it to variable B, and we're going to extract number item index of 3. Now, interestingly, we're doing this. Where's the code for it to do it? Why have I not written it? In C is graph returns true. What's the is graph method? What's that checking? A graphical character. does this even have? Is what the fudge did I get his number from? It's not. I thought it was a string, but it's not, is it? It is. It is. Char. Alright, carriage. Char is this, is that. So char is. So you get letter or digit, no graph, high surrogate, no idea what that is, punctuation, oh no, that's it. Is it a digit? What's a fucking digit? Oh, it's a number. Where's his number? Why is it not showing me every... Oh my word. I'm losing the ability to just read. So we've got is control, digit, letter, lower, surrogate, separator, symbol. Ah, it'll be a symbol, won't it? Yeah. They'll use symbols other than graphical characters. Yeah. Grins, I've had 5 hours sleep. I cannot function on 5 hours sleep. However, I cannot sleep because I woke up awake, but I'm tired. Does that make sense? Plus, I'm thick as pig shit anyway, so that doesn't help. Yeah. I can code, but I don't understand a lot of the stuff behind the code. But I can code. It's like I can drive, but I don't understand how the engine works. I can just interact with it, push pedals, pull levers. Thank you, Lakia. You're kind. I know, I'm getting better every day, but I also feel like I am getting thicker. I'm getting older. So as much of the knowledge I've got, things are getting harder. Start forgetting things. My mum's probably going to end up with dementia. And now, given that I've inherited everything else she's had, I might be going the same way. Fingers crossed we're not. Because that thing is fucking horrible for everyone involved. So, positive thoughts. I'm just stressed. Yeah. So, I work with the emergency services. And there was a job in. And it was from the night before. And the son had been in contact with dad. And mum and dad were out in the car. They were lost. Right? And that was something like 11 p.m. I'm in the next day. And it's like been over 12 hours. And we get a hit of a location for that VRM. The registration of the vehicle where they're driving around. And they've been driving around it in a circle. Like all night. Lost. And they're still driving around. Lost. And it's like, that stuff has probably got, he's got dementia in there. One or both. Other than that, they're just extremely too proud to ask for help. To stop at a garage and just say, do you know where such and such is? They've literally been driving around all night, no joke, all night. And even by the end of his shift, I don't think they were able to intercept them and like check up on them. Mad. Well, hopefully it's not something that is... I don't think anyone in my family, on my dad's side, on my mum's side, has had dementia that we know of. Or that my parents were ever aware of. However, it just means that we were not aware of it, and it could be there. But I've got more of a feeling it's all just to do with stress more than anything. I hope. So, yeah. Let's see. Now, so we wanted to write some code in here, which is going to do all the magical stuff that we want it to do. So the first thing we want to do is get the variable name. And I've got to remind myself how on earth we're doing variable stuff. Variable counts process. Mission creator parser set that. So we don't need to do any processing. We just need to do this. So I want to set the variable with go with that. And what we do, variable ID, which is variable name, to be honest. So we want to get variable, custom variable value. Out string CSV values. We're hoping that CSV values. If CSV values contains a comma, then we're good to go. Else, then we're just gonna go like just like oh no. Well, instead of freaking out or something, we'll just save whatever we've got, you know. Let's see, actually we could do a bit of cleverness. Else if item index less than or equal to 0, then we'll do that. Because if we're trying to find something which isn't less than or equal to 0, there's nothing to save. So we'll just say, well, if there's no comment, we're going to treat it as being a single item. And we're trying to get a random item and whatnot. We'll do that. Yep. And then if a delete item from CSV, then go boop. Get that and set that to that. Oh, and oh no, string. There's no empty, which it's not. See, this is the time I should have been waking up. I've got a doctor's appointment in an hour as well. Oh. Yeah, I've waited over a week for this appointment. But at the time that I made an appointment, it was for something else. And now I've got something a bit more pressing. So I'm going to see him about this more pressing matter. But every time I see this particular doctor, he always says, I can't see anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. So then I have to go see another doctor and get a second opinion. And then we make progress. So I did try to see this other doctor, but he's only in there on certain times and days. And it seems the surgery's getting a lot more busier now. That's why it's took over a week to get an appointment with him. And if I want to get an appointment with the other doctor, I have to ring on the day he is in at 8 o'clock to try and get booked in on the date. But on those days I've been working, so I've not been able to do that. So I just had to run with this appointment. And we'll see what he says. He'll just turn around and say, no, there's nothing wrong there. Or maybe it'll write a little bit of information. Just don't chew food, because I've had this pain like from me inner ear go all the way down my like down the jawbone. And I've had that like for 2 weeks, and it got worse on Monday. That when I bit into a sausage, it was just agonising pain. It felt like my eardrum was gonna burst. That's the pain is now seems to be going. It's like, yeah, well, I think that's why they also make appointments that long. By the time you get to see the doctor, the problem's sorted itself. It was very painful. Still is, if I clench my teeth, but at least I can now eat food without being in significant pain, because it was like just that day. But it's more now like if I clench my teeth. And if you tell the doctor, well, it hurts when I clench my teeth, you know what they're going to say. Don't clench your teeth. So I've got the appointment. I'll go. Might as well get me tax put to good use. Now, I have a CSV helper file, don't I? Oh, yeah. A month? I'll be like waiting 6 months to get an appointment. About 3 to 6 months if I want to get to a dentist appointment. Yeah, if he deflects and says that, but I'll say, well, it's the jaw, so it's not really my teeth, is it? So dentists are teeth, aren't they? So hopefully he won't be saying that. But yeah. That is the case. So here we go, CSV reader, which is in that namespace. CSV reader dot get In it, set. I can't even remember how to use this. So, we prepare text. And then just use the get methods. Prepare text for the CSV values. Does this count how many lines? Column numbers. ENT, yeah. Well, the doctor I'm seeing is an ENT specialist. No, that doesn't make it. I still expected to say nothing. Yeah, I can't find anything wrong. But maybe I'm a little bit jaded because a lot of the problems I went to was like when I had long COVID at the start, and no one knows anything about long COVID really. No medical professionals, not GPs anyway, and then not even the people you get referred to can do anything with that, sadly. Redemption arc. I think he's working towards his retirement arc. So if he can go through people fast, then that's what he'll do. Because actually, it was last time I saw him, or maybe the time before last year. He was using his phone to time how long he was seeing people. And when I told him I had a double appointment with him, you should have seen that facial expression. Like, it was almost like, what? He was not impressed that I told him I had a double appointment with him. Because I told him about the first appointment, the first problem. And then, the usual, like, nothing wrong with you. It was like 3 minutes in there. And your appointment's like 10 minutes. So I could have, like, fitted another 2 issues in there at that pace. And then it was like, he was about to send me on my way and said, well, so that's the first one. I've got a double appointment with you. Here's the next one. Because previously, when I've had a double appointment with him, so that's the first issue. Here's the second issue. He said, no, you need to make another appointment. It's like, but this is the double appointment. Yeah, it's got to be stressful for a GB to, stick with 10 minutes. I mean, a lot of people will just, without problems, no problem. He is a very slow typer, though, so he does literally need 10 minutes to type up a prescription or a referral or whatever, because it's like one finger typing. It's like one letter per 5 seconds. So he's not helped himself with the fact that he doesn't learn to type. But it's got to be stressful, and given that, like, a single GP seeing like 2,000 people, the only reason I know that is because he was having a little bit of rant with me about how he has to see 2,000 people, and that's when I was talking, like, visiting him about long COVID. See, what's this returning? There's an int get length. Is that returning how many rows they are on? Yeah. It's telling us how many rows they are. Okay. No, that's easy given that It will be the get length to find the length of the number of items in there. So let's just put this in there. Not need it just yet. Static int. Yeah, row length. And text as CSV. Get length 0. I shall just call it row length. Current row length. Just do that. So refer text. That tells us how many rows here. We don't care as long as there is a row, which there is going to be because we're already checking that there's a comma in there. And then we don't even have to that CSV reader get string, isn't it? So we're just going to grab the value as a string. Value. So we get that. Oh, hang on a minute. That's only going to get the next value in that thing. So we don't want to do that. Oh boy, we're going to have to make another change. So we're going to have to do that and then get string int index. And then column number. And then, oh, spot. Delete item. And if delete item, we literally have to go through and recreate the fucking thing. Yeah, this would be great if we were using a list in a list. So for the I equals 0, I is less than good night, sleep, friends. Mr. Digitum, that's my father's name. Call me your supreme master. It's alright, bud. Have a good sleep. and a fantastic week as well. Oh, why don't we just round it off? Have a fantastic life. This is going to take me ages now to try and figure out. I always hate text manipulation. It's like the biggest bane of my life. Let's see. Var len equals current row length. So we got our current length, we'll save it in there so we're not calling the same method because, you know, performance. And it's less than length. Or is it less than or equal to length? Oh, that'll be less than length, won't it? Because if it's 0, then we wouldn't want that to do anything. Look at me, programming for 25 plus years and still struggling with a for loop. Now we know the index of the item we want. New row equals. How do I create these? And it's split grids, it's just an array. In an array. Can I replace array item with an array? So if I do string that, new string of length minus the one item that we're removing from the list. And then var index equals 0. So if text to CSV I row number, no, if I is equal to the index, continue, because that's the item we don't want. Otherwise, index plus plus row number equals, oh no, it's not going to be that one, it's going to be new row, crap, equals I row number. Oh, the index item we want to remove. All the other items we want to keep. See, the other question is, how long am I going to be waiting for my appointment? Now we got that, so all that remains is Texas CSV. Shit. You can't do it, can you? Can't just like row number equals new row. Do I have to recreate the entire fucking thing? C#. Add new row to 2D array. Replace item. Or remove item in row. How can I delete column? No, I don't want to delete columns and rows. I want to delete specific items. Delete elements from a 2D array. Iterate. I can delete items. Yeah, just use a list. Well, this guy wants to delete a row and column. That's not what I asked for, Google. And you know it. How about we don't do that? Because that's garbage. What we do then instead is literally just shift the items over. So if I is greater than or equal to that, then the text CSV is going to be I row number equals text CSV I plus 1 row number. And if, oh gosh, I plus so first of all, if I plus 1 is greater than 11, break, because we're done. Can't shift that. Is it going to be greater than? Yeah. Because let's say length is 1. Yeah. Actually, no, it's going to have to be greater than or equal to, isn't it? If it's greater than that, do that. If index I is greater than that, then we're not going to do continue. We're going to shift them over. Where this one is going to be actually well, fudge me. Let's just so I equals index. That's where we're starting at. Then, oh boy, if the length plus 1 greater equal to I plus 1 greater than equal to length, then actually it'll be equal to length, because then we know whether we can do this equals null. Make that item null. And then else, we're not one away, so we can actually do that. So we're not actually removing the number of items in. We are now making life difficult for ourselves. So, like this. Yes. Out is to check if an item is null, and if so, -1 from the length. Sound all that, yeah? Yes. Yeah, a bit of faffing around. I don't want a list in list. Though I could do that as a class, couldn't I? With a list in it, which would sort of sort out with what we're dealing with. You know. But we'll just treat it. If it's null, then it's an item that's been removed, and just shift everything down that row until we get to the last one, and that item's null. And hopefully that'll just sort that out. Right. I'm going to have to go and get ready for this doctor's appointment. So I'm going to raid the guy I was talking about earlier, who's making his game. Like a colony management type game. I can find the raid button. So let's go raid at this fella. All one of us. Right, take care. I'll be back in a few hours probably. Got to sort myself out this morning. We'll try and crack on with what we're doing now. Bye for now.
That's sad. Okay. I have so many bots. Okay. How's the refactory going? It's going pretty well. Although I'm in a rambling mood right now, so I'm a little